focus a little bit on the absurdity that people who are close to retirement are paying a quarter of their limited incomes on health care. That is cruel, and that is not what should be going on in this country. Thank you very much for sharing that. Yes, sir.
Hello, Senator Sanders. My name is Nathaniel Gavronsky, and I am a constituent advocate. I work with this stuff all the time. I am also CMS certified. I am also on disability, and there's SSI and there's ssdi, and there's some differences with that people don't really understand. I have clients in 17 states, a lot of them trying to get on disability, and they're 3 to 4 years into it. 5 of them have died because of the time it takes. Also, there's 42 USC 402, Disabled Adult Child Code. If someone is born with autism or Down syndrome or something like that, and one of their parents aren't disabled, then they have to go on SSI, which is only $700. If a parent is disabled or dead, they would get the full benefit. Neither one will will get that far, and then their ability to work is impossible. I'm unemployed. I do what I do for free because the people I work with can't give me any money, and I'm spending everything I've got to help people, and I have an estate that likes what I do and is funding me somewhat. But the time it takes for these people to get help is ridiculous.
And many of them die before they
Many
get help.
die, and then there needs to be fixed, we're on fixed incomes, they should have fixed expenses. Look at it this way, you know, the utilities here in Iowa are going up 25% twice in 1 year. That's 50% increase. That my mom's house, who's also on disability, she can no longer afford to keep the heat on, and her pipes freeze every winter. She goes a month and a half sometimes without running water. One of your staffers, Victoria, is going to sit down with me and go over some of this stuff. She's really, really great. So I want to thank you for your staff, the best staff so far in the caucuses. But I really need, with all my clients that I'm working with across the country, there's so much that I want to bring up to you.
Well, thank you very much, and thank you for raising the issue, which we don't talk enough about, and that is people with disabilities. And what the gentleman just said is absolutely right, is that it is so complicated, it is so long, that the system allows people to die before they even get their disability benefits. All right, let's stay on people struggling on Social Security or other benefits for a moment. Anyone have anything? Yes, sir. Misty?
Senator Sanders, welcome back to Iowa.
Thank you.
I've been involved. My name is Ron Hurd. I live in Urbandale. I've been involved in the affordable housing industry for over 35 years. And we talk about how do people with low incomes pay for groceries and heat and Medicare and their insurance premiums and their prescription drugs. It is a true challenge. And the only way that I've experienced that kind of stuff is with working with people that are in assisted housing, either Section 8 subsidized housing or project-based rent assistance, or what I consider to be one of the best programs that was ever created, the low-income housing tax credit program, because your rent doesn't go up every time your income goes up. And I'm very proud that you wrote the damn bill. And today is actually the first time that I've ever heard you explain the phase-in on how we're going to pay for Medicare. I have long been a proponent of lowering the age of eligibility to 55 years old. But I think the thing that the politicians aren't talking about is that there is a premium for Medicare. Mm-hmm. I pay a premium. I'm 65. I don't have full retirement age, so I write the check out every 3 months for my Medicare premium. And I can tell you, thank God, my premium costs are good. My medical expenses are lower than that. So I'm helping the Medicare problem. And I think lowering it to 55 and having those people pay a premium will help the system. Lowering it to 45 will help the system. But I think they have to pay a premium.
Well, what we're going to do is not call it a premium. All right. Right now, we heard from that woman. When people are paying a premium, I call it a tax for the insurance companies. All right. So what we're going to do is do away with premiums to the insurance companies and have people pay taxes. Healthcare is not free. I'm not here to suggest to anybody that miraculously everybody in America is going to healthcare. We don't have to pay for it. That's crazy. Of course you got to have to pay for it. But we pay for it in a progressive way. The way she described it is a totally regressive and unfair way. Middle-class people paying a fortune out of their limited incomes on healthcare. The way we pay for it is in a progressive way. You're going to have to pay for it. No question about it. But it's going to be done in a way that exempts the first $29,000 of your income from taxation, and probably there'll be a 4% tax above that. So if you're making $60,000, you'll be paying about $1,200 based on $31,000 of taxable income. How's that? $1,200 for comprehensive health care covering all of your health care needs. Pretty good?
That's a good deal.
That is a great deal. We have to rebuild our crumbling infrastructure. Roads and bridges and water systems. Here in Iowa, you got a problem. We need thousands of workers to help us do that in all capacities of work. We have to deal with the existential threat of climate change and transform our energy system, all right? So we need you and your generation to help us not only retrofit buildings, transform our energy system, help us with sustainable energies like wind and solar and geothermal. You got to save the planet. That's what your generation has got to do. And my job as president is to make sure that those jobs are out there and that people receive the kind of compensation they deserve for doing that important work. So bottom line, to answer your question, you and your generation must be involved heavily in the political process. Don't leave it to a handful of billionaires. And second of all, there is an enormous amount of work to do to improve lives for millions of people. Let's do it. So I want to thank all of you for being here. And I have the feeling we just touched the surface. I think we don't fully appreciate what that will mean for the average American. Just think for a moment. We've already heard 3 stories. We're going to hear more in a minute. What will it mean in terms of reducing stress when you know you can go to the doctor, you can go to the hospital if you have to. You don't have to worry about the bill. All right? You can, in fact, leave your job if you're not happy there and go out and get a new job and not worry about whether or not you're going to have health insurance or not. You could be a small business person and know that all of your workers are covered, and you don't have to spend half of your profits on providing health care for your workers. Think about what a huge burden of stress is being relieved when everybody in this country will have health care as a human right. His entire life?
Yes, he did. He farmed.
He's a farmer, and you worked your entire life?
Yes.
And what you're nervous about is at the end of the day, when you're ready to retire, you're not going to have anything in the bank.
No, I won't have anything. In fact, I've mentioned to my kids, I hope they redo their basement nicely because I'll probably be in it.
Okay. All right. Deanna, thank you very, very much. Okay, what I want to, it's the same story. We've heard Deanna tell it, and others have told it. Alzheimer's is a terrible illness, and we need to put more money into research to understand the causes of that illness and try to be more effective in treating it. But families should not have to find themselves in financial duress. And what we're hearing from is older workers today. And in the back of your mind, Deanna, correct me if I'm wrong, you are thinking about the day when you're not going to be able to work anymore.
Exactly.
All right, and we all are. There comes a day where you can't work anymore. And what happens then if you've spent down all of the money? This is the really horrible thing. People work their whole lives in order to put aside a little bit of money so that you can retire. And then you hit with Alzheimer's or you hit with cancer, whatever it may be, and you got to spend it down, and then you're thinking, what happens to me when I'm 70, 75, 80 years of age? Where's the money going to come for me to live with a shred of dignity? And that's a story, you know, what Deanna was saying, what Sue was saying, what others have been saying here this morning. This is a story shared by millions of people. All right, is Marty here? Do we have, there's Marty, all right.
Thank you, Senator Sanders. My name is Marty Larson. That's the reason this is the last one. Anyway, I appreciate the stories told here. I think a lot of us don't know about these stories until we actually hear them. It's like if it doesn't affect me, it doesn't exist, but it does. First of all, thank you for your sacrifice to the veterans. If not for you, we would not have the freedoms we have today, and that is to fight for this and fight an administration that's trying to take these things away from us that we do deserve. I shouldn't be here as I'm not a veteran. I registered for the draft in '73 and went through the lottery. However, they started pulling out of Vietnam at that time, so I did not serve. And I should not be here, but I am here for my father. My father, Minor Larson, a Korean veteran, he passed away at midnight Saturday. Now, he knew I was coming here. I'd committed. And he knew and understood why I fight with Bernie here, because these are our rights. I said, you know, we have to stand up to what is right. He was taken to hospice Friday afternoon, yet he knew my passion to support Bernie was important. He and my mother discussed this race on many occasions. I did say my goodbyes before I left, and I did see him on a video phone call Saturday before he did pass away. And he was in Korea the night it ended, and that is the only story he really told me. It was a moonlit night, and 11 o'clock, for some reason, World War I, it's the 11th hour, the 11th day is when they stopped the wars. And he's a young 20-year-old man, and he says, I thought I was going to die. The barrage was just unbelievable. And you have to remember, in Korea, I think we dropped more ammunition or armament on that country than all of World War II. And so he said, at 11 o'clock, dead silence. Moonlit night. MacArthur had told him that we were fighting Chinese. We were not. They said not. But he said thousands and thousands of them came out on the hillsides and the mountainsides that night. He said, I couldn't believe it. So he saw that. He did not take any VA benefits or participate in any VFW activities. And I think it was almost like he was ashamed by the way he was treated when he returned home. And that did not change until him and I went on the honor flight in Davenport, Iowa. And I'll tell you, his pride came back. He felt honored to have gone to the memorials and that, and it was. And he was thanked when he came back. And after that, boy, he wore that Korean hat all the time. And he was thanked many times in public. People would walk up and say, thank you for your sacrifice. Thank you for your service. And I told him, I fight now for what him and you veterans fought for then, to protect our rights as human beings, to have health care, to have a decent life when we retire. And that's what this is all about. And this man here is the one that will do it. Thank you.
Marty, thank you very, very much